Good morning, and welcome to another bonus episode of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reread. Today, we will be finishing up all of the remaining Sahagin quests that we haven't already got to on stream. Once again, to clarify, if you have not seen the other bonus episodes or do not know the deal with these, I will not be reading or rereading any of the other quests that I have already read on stream. So if you need to, or if you want to see those, you may have to go looking for them. Anyway, let's dive right in. Wind from their sails. Few needs you to teach humility to the Coral Tridents. The Coral Tridents have taken a command of a trading vessel. They certainly wasted no time in sending a messenger to boast of their achievements to their brothers in the spawning grounds. If this prideful revelry is allowed to continue, it will only encourage others to follow in their example. I propose you board the captured ship and knock some humility into those merchant-hunting fools. Show them that not all shorewalkers are such easy prey. Begin your demonstration with the rank and file on deck, and their leader will soon appear to challenge you. His defeat at your hands should have the desired effect. The merchantman is yet in open water, so you will need to ride an Elbs to reach it. Take the wind from their sails, finless one. Upon speaking to Pa to get a Elbst, he says, "The captured merchantman, it's far from the spawning grounds, and that is good. My Elbst needs the exercise." When the boss Sahagin appears on the ship, he says, "The ship is ours, shorewalker. The tridents are invincible." Upon returning to Few, he says, "Your lesson was a success. The tale of their humiliation will be apparent to all when they slink back to shore, beaten and bloody. This incident reminds me of a recent experience. After a particularly bountiful fishing operation, I gorged myself on my catch. It wasn't until after I had finished my gluttonous feast that I noticed the remains of a mildly poisonous bottom feeder. I was sick for days, and I have been careful to sort my hauls ever since." "No, I do not mean to compare you to a bottom feeder. Forget the story. I thank you for your aid, shorewalker." Learn by destroying. Ho has received a, good lord. Who is on first? Who's on first has received word of a merchantman in trouble and would send you to the rescue. All is topsy-turvy with you shorewalkers, it seems to me. Because you are weak, you grow strong. Your ships skim across every shee and bob in every cove, yet you are finless and leaden. How peculiar. Shipbuilding, navigation, cartography, all these we Sahagin know little of. That is as it should be, for the she is our matriarch, and no spawning should know its dam in such a way. Psh. But the Coral Tridents forget all decency in their ambition to make war on the shorewalkers. They are learning engineering. Psh. They are going to college for engineering degrees. In this, they seek tutelage from their tame shorewalkers, the serpent reavers. News reaches me on the waves that they have sieged a merchantman to learn further of its weaknesses, how to breach the hull from the outside, scuttle it with quickness from the inside, such and more. This must not be. Speaking to Pa to get an Elbst, he says, "A jaunt to the seized merchantman. Psh, just say the word, and I will get you on your way. My Elbst is your Elbst." Upon returning to Who's on First, he says, "Well done, shorewalker, well done indeed. You learn quickly. It is a quality I have come to grudgingly admire, even among the Coral Tridents. That they would learn to not to spawn and nurture, but to destroy and slay. That I cannot understand. It shames all Sahagin, and they would seize a trading ship like common brigands." Psst. In the shadow of the moon. The tales from the sea are ever written salt and blood, and on a sleepy little island in Galadion Bay, the plot suddenly thickens. The plot goes suddenly thicker. Psst. You know of Moonshade Isle, yes? It is one of the favored fishing grounds of my people, including we of Nov's Clutch. Sadly, the Coral Tridents know this as well. They send the serpent reavers to the gentle islet to scatter the fish and bedevil the fishers. The reavers skulk on the island, for they mean to seize it for themselves. Our spawn brothers go hungry as long as these foul pirates are unchallenged. Will you dispatch the reavers and unchain Moonshade Isle? You will need an elbst to reach the isle. Speak with the sheebish tamer Pa, and all shall be well. Speaking to Pa to get an elbst, he says, Moonshade Isle, very mystical place. It has very special energy. One of my elbst will take you, shore walker. Upon defeating the Serpent Reavers and returning to Who, he says, Psst, you have done well for our spawn, brothers. Sleek they will grow, with no pirates to keep them from the waves. The shore-walker pirates are hateful to my eyes. I rejoice in their demise. The Clutchfather counsels us to only fight when we cannot swim away. But what of times like this? If we swim away, our brothers will be left to starve, unschooled in the ways of the fisher. The way is as unclear as a she much churned. Put a shock in it. Who's on first is much troubled by the state of the spawning grounds and seeks a handy shorewalker for some light poison control. We ventured onto land solely to secure a place for the Indigo Matriarch to spawn. But the spawning grounds remain untamed, for too many of our people see more honor in a spear than a mattock. Such is the need that we must turn to a shorewalker for aid. Chief among our concerns is the gas sprayed from the local barnacles. Their noxious fumes would harm our eggs. The most effective way of dealing with this is to stuff their spraying orifices with moon jellyfish. But beware the pugils when you stopper the barnacles. They do not take kindly to strangers manhandling their favorite snacks. Psst. The moon jellyfish you receive read, the pliant form of this jellyfish makes it perfect for jamming into, and effectively sealing, the gas-spraying opening of a noxious barnacle. The barnacles are stoppered? Good. I was beginning to fear that the spawning itself may be in peril. I am grateful. If we do not spawn, it is the end for our people. What use to stride off to war if there are no spawnlings to return to, no matriarch to continue the line? But young males never listen. Psst. Shellfish schemes. Sue would have you delve deep into the spawning grounds. Psst. There is word that the coral tridents have perfected more powerful versions of their unnatural whelk ballistae. It appears that much effort has been spent into breeding larger, more robust shellfish. The tridents mean to take no chances when they next attack the tide gauge. Fortunate for us, these unnatural weapons are yet being tested deeper within the spawning grounds. Now is our chance to destroy them before they can be transported to the front lines. Any attack on the ballistae will likely bring swift reprisals, so be ready to defend yourself against the guards. Upon returning to Sue, they say, another victory for our cause. Should the tide gate fall, there would be no end to our battles with the shorewalkers. We attack, they counterattack, and the unbroken chain of retaliation pulls more tightly around all our necks. A simple truth, but one that my fanatic kin seem unable to grasp. Plunder fire. Sue would ask you to swim softly and carry a big stone. It appears that the Serpent Reavers have dragged several chests of pillaged goods onto the deck of their ship. The better to examine their haul? I know not. What I do know is that this plunder will directly supply the war efforts of the Coral Tridents, and that we cannot allow. It is fortunate then that they caulk their loot boxes with pitch, a highly flammable substance. One rarely has the need to fear open flames in the middle of the ocean, but armed with a simple flintstone, the Reavers will soon learn to fear you. Have Pa lend you a she-beast, and make your way to the pirate's ship as soon as you are able. Upon speaking to Pa and asking for an elbist, he says, Psh, the Reaver's ship? It is swift, but my elbst can catch her. The small flintstones you use to set fire read, a small chunk of flint used to strike sparks. Upon returning to Sue, he says, Psh, how the Reavers must howl at the loss of their loot. You've done well, shorewalker. Without the supplies of their finless allies, the war efforts of the Tridents will be slowed to a crawl, and the less they are able to antagonize the shorewalkers, the better it will be for my people. Unfair trading. Sue would have you turn the tables on the Serpent Reavers. If we are to weaken the thrust of the Coral Tridents, then we need also thin the ranks of their allies, the Serpent Reavers. One of their senior tactical officers is at sea with a crew even as we speak. They prowl the waters in a merchantman, posing as traders so as to not alert their prey to their true nature. But we are not so easily fooled. Psh, take an Elbst and slip aboard the disguised pirate vessel. Your main target will come once you have slain enough of his men. Speaking to Pa, he says, Psh, hunting serpent reavers today? My Elbst will speed you to their ship. When the drowned seaman first class appears, he says, I'll leave you guts for the gulls, whelp. Upon returning to Sue, he says, Psh, the officer is dead. Well done. I imagine the reavers are not accustomed to being the target of a surprise attack. They will need to return to port to recover and regroup. These tattooed pirates, the shorewalkers, despise them, and my people treat them little better than slaves. It is little wonder that they act with such unrestrained cruelty. Removing the stain. Sue would have you remove a dangerous threat to the peace of the spawning grounds. Psh, a notorious serpent reaver captain by the name of Ermswish the Stained has been seen making with the leaders of the Coral Trident. We do not know what foul plans they are hatching, but not that the Finlish brute is involved with bodes well for the peace of the spawning grounds. I do not think it wise to stand back and allow events to unfold. If the death of one loathsome pirate can spare my people future tragedy, then so be it. The captain often shuts herself away in her quarters, but you might catch her walking around in the serpent's tongue. Slay this dangerous woman, Ruja, and bring me the coral necklace that signifies her loyalty to the Coral Trident. The item you receive upon killing the captain reads, a necklace of wrought coral bestowed upon Aimswiss the Stained by the notorious Scarlet Sea Devil. Upon returning it to Shu, he says, Aimswiss the Stained is one of the Trident's most vile pets. Bring me her coral necklace that we might know this dreadful shorewalker is no more. Yes, this trinket is proof that the pirate you defeated was indeed the captain and none other. The reavers will have little time for villainy while they contest the matter of her succession. I do not understand why the Trident associate with such scum. It seems our Clutchfather has far better taste in choosing his shorewalker allies. Tines of the Trident. Sue needs your help to curtail a Sahagin strike force. Psh! The Coral Trident are rallying their warriors to make a push on the shorewalker position. They meant to start open warfare. We cannot allow them to steer our race towards oblivion. You must find 3 chiefs in charge of the operation and end their mad rush for glory. The swiftest way to force a confrontation with these leaders is to launch an attack against their clans. Defeat members of the Shapshire Shelf Scale, Shelf Claw, and Shelf Teeth, and you will soon draw the ire of their chiefs. Quickly now, before their momentum becomes unstoppable. Upon defeating the chiefs and returning, Sue says, Psh, the chiefs are vanquished? That is good. Our people will never find salvation with such short-sighted warmongers in control. But I fear those who step up to fill this void of authority will offer us little better. We must remain vigilant. Sea scraps. Sue would have you get your feet wet for a good cause. Psh! My Spawn brothers were out spearfishing in deeper waters than usual when they spied a she-beast battle between a reaver-controlled merchantman and a maelstrom warship. It appears the sides were evenly matched. Though the shorewalker soldiers pressed the attack on the deck of the trader, heavy losses eventually forced them to retreat to their own vessel. That is all well and good, but several of the maelstrom combatants were taken captive during the withdrawal. Considering the dreadful fate that awaits them back at the spawning grounds, their comrades will likely return in greater numbers and attempt to rescue on land. You must write an Elbsch to the merchantman and free the prisoners before any such plan needs be put into action. Additional she-beasts should not be necessary. The trading vessel will have rowboats that liberated soldiers can use to reach the shore. Upon speaking to Pa, he says, Sue has told me of the situation aboard the merchantman. Just see to it those finless warriors do not harm my Elbst. Upon freeing the various captive soldiers on the merchantman, they say things like, where in the 7 hells did you come from? Strike that, I don't even want to know. Just point me to the nearest lifeboat. Me thanks, just caught a blow to the back of my head as though I made to leap the rail. Won't be catching me a second time. Thank Limlane for Mad Adventures. Thought I would be done for. That'll teach me to treat seasoned pirates like they was back alley thugs. Whew! They're a godsend. Free me mates and we'll find our own way off this stinking ship. Upon returning to Sue, he says, Psst! Thank you, Ruja. It is best that we give the maelstrom no vendettas to pursue. The shorewalkers are not so very different from us. They will sacrifice much for the members of their clutch. Never underestimate the bonds of family. The tail's the best part. Siu has a culinary favor to ask of you. Psh, I have a favor to ask of you, Ruja. While my Spahn brothers and I can survive on fish alone, it would do much for our spirits to fill our bellies with a different kind of flesh. It has been an age since we have feasted on axolotl. We used to hunt the creatures often, but then the tridents herded them all to the spawning grounds. If you were to venture into trident territory and bring yourself back a succulent tail, you would do much to endear yourself to my people. And if you truly wish to bring us a treat, then stew the flesh in the boiling fish broth of the Shapsha warriors until it becomes juicy and tender. Psst, you may be accosted by a hungry trident while you wait for the meat to soften. Like most soldiers, they take any threat to their food supply very seriously. Actually, let me look something up. Fun fact, did you know that that word is actually not pronounced axolotl? It's pronounced asholoch. At least in the native pronunciation of Nahutal. I don't know how to pronounce that. But Aztec, in the Aztec language that it originates from, it is pronounced asholoch. Am I going to remember how to pronounce it like that? Almost certainly not. Let's keep going. Speaking of that, the rubbery tail meat you retrieve from the beast reads, the rubbery and somewhat slimy tail meat of an axoloch. Upon stewing it, you get tender tail meat, the tail of an axoloch, stewed in boiling fish broth until tender. Returning it to Shu, he says, have you returned to rescue us from our unending diet of fish? Psh, that wonderful smell. You stewed the meat. This may be your greatest contribution to the clutch yet. Don't say I never taught you guys anything about pronunciation. A quick snip. Few wishes you to demonstrate your goodwill towards the clutch. Among the Sahagin, it is the duty of the elder Spahn brothers to aid the clutch father with teaching the hatchlings the ways of the sea. Psh, it has fallen upon me to instruct my younger clutchmates in the arts of fishing. Our campaign against the coral tridents, however, has left me scant time to hunt for snipper shells we used to craft the heads of our fishing spears. As a symbol of your willingness to aid our clutch, would you gather the shells in my stead? Travel to Moonshade Isle and first slay the pugils for their flesh. If you then place the morsels on the sand, the snippers will soon emerge from their burrows to feed. Psh, Paz Elbst know the way to the isle. You need only remain upright in the saddle. The fresh pugil flesh you get read, a generous slab of quivering pugil flesh. And the shells you get from slaying the crabs read, the light yet incredibly hard carapace of a red megalocrab. That is green, by the way, just so you know. Upon returning to Few, he says, Psh, how fares your grand hunt for snipper shells? Yes, these are fine specimens indeed. Though difficult to crack, the resulting splinters are uncommonly sharp and rigid, perfect for spearheads. Thank you, Shorewalker. Learning to thrust and gauging distance to prey. These are skills all Sahagin must learn. The hardest part of teaching the hatchlings, however, is making sure they do not impale themselves or each other. Reaving in a hurry. Siu would have you curtail the savagery of the serpent reavers. Psst. The Finnish ones call us beastmen, but even I shudder at the recent brutalities enacted by the serpent reavers. If we are ever to bring an end to the escalating violence, then the leaders of the reavers must be crippled. There is little room for subtlety here. Rush into the serpent's tongue like a breaking wave, and lay the tattooed shorewalkers low. Their officers are sure to appear when your presence becomes too deadly to ignore. Upon killing all of the officers and returning, Siu says, Psst, thank you, Ruja. The body of the serpent will flop aimlessly for a time, but such vile creatures always grow new heads. Up in smoke. Siu needs a shorewalker who isn't afraid to play with fire. Psh, in the port found within the spawning grounds, the tridents have been stockpiling the goods pillaged during their rage. Lamp oil, foodstuffs, precious metals, all matter of supplies to be put towards the war efforts. I want you to take this flintstone and burn the lot. Leave them nothing but slag and cinders. Psh, the flames will likely summon the guards, but that shouldn't worry a mighty warrior such as you. The hefty flintstone he gives you says, a large chunk of flint used to strike sparks. Upon returning, Siu says, the stench of smoke yet clings to you, Shorewalker. Lamp oil burns most fiercely, does it not? Psh, You have done well in depriving the Trident of supplies, but I feel they have developed a taste for pillage. I will keep an eye out for more flint. All right, and that is going to do it for all of the remaining Sahagin quests. Thank you guys very much for watching, and remember that you can catch the streams of this game and others live at twitch.tv/officialpunguy, as well as join the Discord, links to both of which are in the description. And if you need to catch up on any of these episodes, all of these streams for 14 and any other game that I do are all organized in neat little playlists on this YouTube channel, so you can catch up on anything that you missed. But once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.